Number 10. Going for a fag. When I was 12, my family and I went to England on holiday or vacation, and my uncle told my mom he was going for a fag. My eyes were bulging out of my head in absolute mortification because the word fag was a naughty word that, if I ever spoke, it would land me in loads of trouble. My mom noticed my despair and pulled me aside to tell me that my uncle would have a cigarette. Yes, fag is the British word for a cigarette and not meant as a derogatory word to call a gay person. I often reflect on this experience and laugh simply because this one word has a drastic difference living overseas. Number 9. I am quite pissed. In America, this term is spoken by someone feeling more than just a little bit agitated. Most of us say it when we are downright angry. If a British person tells you that they are feeling pissed, then it means that they are intoxicated or drunk, and perhaps it is time for them to get some water. Number 8. I need to spend a penny. Where is the loo? You might be saying to yourself, what the heck is this chick talking about? Do not worry. This has absolutely nothing to do with finding a place to spend any money, let alone a mere penny. I need to spend a penny means that the person speaking needs to use a toilet, and the word loo is British for the restroom. I have always enjoyed this one. Number 7. I'm quids and / I'm skint / have you got any dosh? I know these three phrases may have you baffled, but allow me to clarify. In America, I'm quids and will translate to a person who has come into a bit of money. I'm skint is another way of saying that you have no money or are broke. Perhaps you guessed by now, but have you got any dosh means that the speaker is asking for some cash. Number 6. Having a good old chinwag. This refers to having a long conversation but not about essential matters. It suggests more meaningless chatter about gossip. Chinwag means chin movement and is said to have roots in the Victorian era. Number 5. Careful, he's on the chunder bus. No, this has nothing to do with a bus or any transportation whatsoever. This British phrase is a warning that a person is about to be sick or throw up. Perhaps an American saying they are about to toss their cookies sounds peculiar to a Brit. Number 4. I am totally cackhanded. This funny-sounding term means one is awkward or clumsy. According to Merriam-Webster and American Heritage, the cack and cackhanded comes from the English dialect keck, meaning awkward, from Old Norse kicker, meaning bent backward. Many British works of reference disagree with the previous statement saying association with cack is an old British term for excrement or dung. In ancient traditions, it was customary for right-handed people to reserve the left hand for cleaning up after themselves, as with a bowel movement saving the right hand for everything else. Therefore, left-handed people are considered cack-handed or backward. Number 3. It's brass monkeys out there. This is a humorous British phrase meaning that it is freezing outside. The original term to freeze the balls off a brass monkey refers to when warships carried iron cannons requiring cannonballs nearby. The theory suggests that the cannonballs were in a pyramid shape with one resting on top, resting on 4, resting on 9, which rested on 16. To secure the balls and prevent them from rolling, supposedly a brass plate called a monkey with 16 indentations blocked the balls from moving away. When temperatures were frigid, the brass indentations would contract to cause the balls to escape, deeming the phrase "it's cold enough to freeze the balls off a brass monkey." Much of this idea has been disproven, leaving behind a quirky tale and a funny saying. Number 2. It's all gone pear-shaped. Is a saying that means something which has gone wrong. Its origins date in British English somewhere in the late 1940s or early 1950s, and are related to training aircraft pilots. At some point in training, the trainees had to make complicated loops. Instead of perfecting the circular pattern, many of the trainees' outlines were pear-shaped. Number 1. Rumpo, rumpy pumpy, good rogering, or how's your father? All of these probably sound pretty crazy, and the explanation may sound even insane to an American. These three phrases all pertain to sexual relations. Rumpo and the rhyming couplet became popular in the 1980s, and the origin lies in the BBC, British Broadcasting Corporation, radio series Round the Horn Weekly 1965 to 1968. A character in the show named Rambling Sid Rumpo would perform lewd songs filled with sexual innuendos, so much so that his name penned the slang expressions for sexual intercourse. Good rogering pertains to having sex with a woman, and the word roger is an older term for penis. Rogering is an upper-middle-class term about chambermaids who were obedient enough to allow the master of the house to have sex with them. "How's your father?" is an outdated term going back to the Second World War. Soldiers would solicit elderly French madams, some of whom were old enough for intimacy during the First World War. The inference is that the son could go where the father has already been. Yes, disgusting.